match award decided it should go to the one batsman who got past 40, Jeff CROWE, who got indeed into the... Gatting was fit to lead England. Mark Benson had a stiff neck. He was omitted, and so was Richard Ellison. And in came Bill ATHEY, 12th man in Leeds, and Phil Edmonds for a spin attack of 2. New Zealand, the opening bowler, Ewan Chatfield, had the hard luck to fracture a thumb at Headingley, and in his place, the young pace bowler, Willie Watson. The two skippers came out for the toss at 10:30, and on this occasion, Jeremy Coney got it wrong. So Mike Gatting invited New Zealand to bat first on what looked to be a good dry pitch. We pick up the cricket, the first ball of the second over. It's Neil Foster bowling to the New Zealand left-hander, John Wright.
Oh, fine shot. Really crisp shot. John Wright is very fast onto the back foot. Very quick to pick up that short length. Now it's Dilly to Bruce Edgar. Yes, nicely steered. Very cautious, I thought then, Wright and Edgar. I think the legacy of the runouts has really got into them, and we might see a bit of that today. And that's out. Bruce Edgar is LBW to Graham Dilly, so England have their first strike.
Don't think there's too much doubt about this. Bruce Edgar only going halfway forward, hardly forward at all. Pitching middle, and I think would have hit the middle. And the young Ken Rutherford coming in. The little I saw of him at Leeds, he looked to be quite a useful stroke maker.
But now it's Neil Foster to John Wright. Oh, it's a good shot. I don't think it's worth the chase. No, Alan Lamb coasts along there. Never really gets into a sprint. It's a fine shot by John Wright. And loosening up at first slip is Derek Pringle. It is probably one of the few things England do well these days, is loosen up. Dilly to Rutherford. That's lighting things up.
Yeah, this is one of the problems if you get on the front foot too early. Interesting to see the first movement there. Forward, quite a long way forward too. But a very good short pitch delivery there.
This is going to be Pringle, and he's bowling to Rutherford. That's ambitious from a bowler of Pringle's pace.
Graham Dilly was able to sit Rutherford on his backside, but Pringle bowling a really loose long hop.
50 up in the first 15 overs, which is generally accepted as being a good rate. Gives you a good start off to a total well in excess of 200.
And Mike Gatting has decided to turn to the spin of Philippe Edmonds.
Fingertips. Good effort. Just brushed the end of his fingers.
David Gower's taken on a much higher profile in the field since relinquishing the England captaincy. And a very acrobatic dive there, just getting the fingernails to the ball.
ATHEY again, 3 times now he's saved runs with acrobatic stops.
Graham Dilly, the only bowler that would probably recall that helmet to his head. He's been an interesting character in New Zealand cricket, very experienced now. John Embury is going to bowl from the Warwick Road end.
That's up in the air, and that's caught by Derek Pringle. John Andrew just getting the bite and the turn, and so John Wright is gone. Good catch by Pringle.
Yes, and this slightly down the leg side, but noticeably John Wright swishing at that rather than paddling it round. Just bounces a little, top edge, and well judged by Derek Pringle there. Very good innings by John Wright again. He's a pretty sound sort of player. The great sweepers like Dennis Compton and everyone, they sweep on length rather than direction. And that really wasn't quite far enough up to sweep. Hence the top edge.
And this is Martin Crowe. Oh, that's a bad shot. It's Graham Dilley, goes under it and drops it. And that catch landed about half a dozen yards behind Alan Lamb.
Completely done in the flight there, and it'll be interesting to see where that ball falls. See Graham Dilley diving there, and in relation to Alan Lamb, it was only 2 or 3 yards.
That's well placed. Beautiful shot, and that's a chase for Graham Dilley, which he reluctantly gives up. The 100 comes up for New Zealand. The loss of 2 wickets, and that was a glorious shot by Martin Crowe. And that's a half-century for Canada. Pleasing round of applause for Rutherford's 50 off 86 balls, in which he hit 4 balls. That's bowled in. On with the arm, a bit quicker.
Yes, no doubt about this. He should have been forward to that. Hurried on, bowled him off his pads, actually. But full marks to Phil Edmonds. He's bowled very well, and he deserved that wicket. You see, this ball is quite well pitched up, and especially being a front foot player, somewhat surprising to see him go back and trying to whip it through mid-wicket.
Trouble here. Richards has taken it. Even though Gatting has got problems with his side, and it obviously hurt him, he still got round, threw it into Jack Richards. Not a great throw, but a beautiful take by Richards.
Jeremy Coney departed the scene on Wednesday immediately after lunch. And the new batsman is Martin Crowe's brother, Jeff.
Good indication there of just how much that hurt Mike Gatting. He wasn't leaping up and down, but he just gave it the big sigh at the end and then grabbed his side. Pringle comes back on. 6 overs, 2 maidens, none for 18. I'd like to see that again. Brilliant.
Martin Crowe's first initial movement, the back foot, and perfectly timed through the offside. When he strikes the ball like that, he looks a genuinely great player. Another super drive straight down the ground. 4 more, Martin Crowe.
Almost worth the price of the admission just to see those 2 shots. It was a cracker.
Unlike brother Martin, Jeff not getting his weight correctly placed here on the back foot, falling over, his weight going right backwards. And the paciest of the England bowlers back into the attack, Kent's Graham Dilley.
Dilley knew where it had gone. He was muttering a few things. 10 from that over, 187 for 4. Fumble. And it gave Martin Crowe the chance to bring up his 50 from only 61 balls, 5 fours. Not a century and 10 half-centuries in the end of the Davis Internationals. 9 from that over.
Oh, valiant effort, a brilliant effort by Graham Gooch, because Martin Crowe actually picked his spot for that. And he's cursing. He thought I'd picked the spot well, crashed it. It's a wonderful attempt by Graham Gooch. Well, that's high in the air. 6 runs. It was a very difficult for that. He was over his best hand. Could he look down and see what the rope was? Was he going to bump into the fence? And you could just see all those things rattling through his mind as he kept his eye on the ball. Oh, it's a tremendous blow. It may go into the technical area of the court and bowl. I wouldn't be surprised if Derek Pringle got a finger to that. So Mike Gatting now goes for Neil Foster to finish from the Stretford end. And that's very high indeed, and very long. It's 6 runs.
Look at the power of this man. Bang. High over mid-wicket, back into the front.
And there's room there, if you really want them. 4 more. Neil Foster's come back over, cost 20 runs. 2 overs to go, and England struggling.
Fine innings that by Jeff Crowe. I think the highest compliment we can pay him is that he hasn't failed beside his brother. And here he's swinging at everything, and it bowls him off his pads.
And here comes a man who can play a stroke or two. That's Richard Hadley. So we see 4 fielders in the offside, 3 saving 1, and a long off. 5 on the onside. Pringle to Hadley. Well, it must be wide. Or even 4 wides. Yes, 4 wide signals, so Pringle concedes an extra ball as well. 250 up. So who wants to bowl the last over? Nobody appearing to volunteer out there. Neil Foster has been banished to the outfield. It's the vice-captain, Graham Gooch, who has been chosen.
And that's 4 wides.
That's 4 wides. Absolutely ridiculous. Pretty poor stuff.
That's That's high, and someone might get under that. They do, but it's not in time because it's over the rope, and that's a magnificent 6 runs for Richard Hadley. Full toss.
Well, we've had 2 wides, and now a little full toss for 6. Not too professional.
Oh, valiant effort, but I'm afraid it's first bounce 4 runs. I'm afraid the arithmetic is this way. 15 runs off 2 balls. Because there are still 4 to go. Another full toss. And that's 4 more. It seems very strange that Graham Gooch was given this over when Graham Dilley was available, Neil Foster. Last ball. Full toss. And that's 4 more. 26 runs off the last over. But it's been a handsome partnership. Martin Crowe, 93 not out. Richard Hadley, 80 not out. There'll be a tremendous ovation for Crowe.
And from an England point of view, a distinctly shambolic finish. 35 were scored off 9 balls by Martin Crowe and Richard Hadley together, and unbelievably 71 off the last 4 overs. So England coming off the rails, but all credit to Martin Crowe for a super performance, and of course Hadley isn't the easiest chap to bowl at in a situation of that kind. Looking at the bowling, one has to wonder why the England captain didn't bowl out 2 of his quick bowlers, Dilley, Foster or Pringle. It's the spinners, not for the first time, who have the tightest figures. So the England target, a very daunting one, but it's still a good pitch. England needing 5.18 per over to win in the second innings. And we'll pick up the action again, the very first ball of that innings. Richard Hadley, the great Richard Hadley, is the bowler, and the batsman is Graham Gooch, with a chance to get his own back.
And there's the start. Just what they want. Or more. Well, that's 8 of the 26. Gooch needs to catch up. Now it's Watson. Didn't actually get it up in the slot, but Gooch did what was necessary.
Just needs a couple of people to get going, and almost anything is possible.
Beautiful dive away, square drive. And well run by Bill Athey. 2 for 3 there, very, very quickly.
And the hero of the New Zealand innings, Martin Crowe, going on to all his medium pacers.
And this one's 4. That's beautifully played. Just went with the swing. Beautifully clipped away past the man out mid-wicket.
Beautifully timed. Slanting in fact, he played it off the middle stump, but the ball slanting into him.
But now Coney is turning the screw again on Athey. He's bringing in the man from deep square. So now there will be 6 men saving the single, all rushing in as the batsman plays the stroke. And he's got it away this time. 4 runs.
That stroke will give Bill Athey a huge boost of confidence. The pressure was mounting for him. He manages to get that one wide of mid-on.
Gooch has made 38 and Athey 15 of those 54 from the 15 overs. Evan Gray is coming in. He and Bracewell bowled pretty well at Headingley the other day.
That's a brilliant shot. And talk about making up for runs given away. Graham Gooch, who on the last over of the innings, New Zealand innings, gave away 26 runs. So it'll be more comforting for him.
John Bracewell, who's coming into the attack.
That's got through.
And the boots on the other foot now. The New Zealand out cricket starting to look rather ragged. We've seen some fine diving stops, but the last few boundaries just eluding the diving fielders.
So Graham Gooch gets his half century. Very fine innings indeed. Full of good shots, very quick with the drive and very strong in the drive. 50 or 59 balls, and that included 7 fours. Yes, we're in the 19th over here. Evan Gray to Bill Athey. It's in the air and just skims over mid off. It's been a fine opening partnership between Gooch and Athey. 91 for no wicket. And 20 overs now bowled. That really got there quickly. Very pleasant footwork by Athey. And England are 100 without loss. Very good start. Nicely controlled out because Bill Athey hadn't decided to play the shot until the very last moment, and it's a very pleasant way in which to build up his 50.
They've kept it round about that mark for much of the time. It's been a good performance. They haven't allowed it to get up past that 6 per over required. Now 9 overs, 1 maiden, none for 24. Willie Watson. Good shot from Bill Athey. Wasn't all that short. He was onto it very quickly. And again. Well, this will be a tester for young Watson. His first 9 overs were excellent, but both Gooch and Athey realised that they've only got 2 more to test his inexperience. They brought up the 150 in 177 bowls, the last 50 in just 50 deliveries faced. Beautifully placed between the two fielders down behind square leg. New record for limited overs matches. 55 overs games. First wicket record previously was 161. Dennis Amos and Mike Brearley was at the Oval against Australia in 1977. Now it's 162 for this pair.
And 189, that again is another record. That beats the best ever opening partnership in international one-day cricket, and that was 188 between Shrikant and Ravi Shastri, India versus England in '84. They might go for a third. Sprint from Graham Gooch. And just what this capacity crowd really yearning for. That's it. Fine caught and bowl by Jeremy Coney, and that's the end of Graham Gooch's superb innings. 91 runs he scored. The ball ever so slow to the air, and the back just threw a little bit quickly.
Jeremy Coney really holding that one back. Gooch goes to drive, but an easy caught and bowled. End of a marvellous innings by Graham Gooch. The adrenaline would still have been pumping from that embarrassing last over he bowled, but he's come out and answered his critics with that marvellous innings. 91 runs, and England really in a great position now to press on for a victory. So it's David Gower's job to take up the mantle now. It's Hadley into Bill Athey on 99.
Confident shot by Hadley, but Athey loses no opportunity with Gower to steal a leg by. No leg by signalled. It's a little nick onto the pad. So Bill Athey, 28 years old, gets his first century in one-day international cricket. Marvellous sight for him to see the three figures up on the board. Up now, a loss of just one wicket. Graham Gooch.
In readiness now, 4 men inside that fielding circle. Oh, beautiful. But in vain. But lovely work from Ian Smith.
Coney sliding the ball down the leg side, and Athey struggling to get back.
And by comparison, there's no problem at all, but I don't think we can rely on England getting 71 runs off the last 4 overs.
Gower's got that away. Watson is the fielder, but he's got no chance.
David Gower not really happy with his timing and his form, taking a chance here, hitting that from just outside the off stump.
Caught. Gower's hit that very, very hard out to John Wright at mid-off. And right as Poudstead did was a good shot, but just a little bit too straight and a fraction too low. So the second wicket's down now, 219.
Alan Lamb has been in fine form recently. And here's David Gower getting out, going down the wicket, and trying to hit that one over the top. He got a little bit close to it, I think. Tucked up, and John Wright pouching that very well at deep mid-off.
Oh, that's a super shot. He just walked down and wafted it straight over the top.
On Martin Crowe.
The 250 goes up. England have lost 2 wickets, the wickets of Gooch and Gower. ATHEY, 123 not out. Alan Lamb, 19. John Bracewell. Now he comes on to bowl his 9th over. So that's 4. Beautifully played. It's interesting that the field had come in to save singles. And bowls him. Yes, very fine over indeed by John Bracewell.
Very good innings by Alan Lamb, only 27 balls, 28 runs. And the last wicket to fall, Alan Lamb trying to smite Bracewell over extra cover. Not doing a thing, just going straight on. And England 265 for 3, with 3 overs left and 20 runs required.
As Mike Gatting, the England captain, is the new batsman. Oh, that's a beautiful shot. That was a glorious shot.
That was exactly what England needed. Beautiful movement down the wicket, making room for himself, and there's the gap.
But they fiddle well. Martin Crowe bowls Mike Gatting, 274 for 4.
Well, it is a good fiddle when you miss a full toss, but I think Mike Gatting trying to make room to place that.
And this time helmeted Derek Pringle. 7 to win, 10 balls left. Oh, lovely, beautiful. He accepted the invitation and said, thank you very much. Three runs to win, 9 balls left, and they're all coming in. They must come in from long off and from long on, from far-flung parts of Old Trafford. And he does it again. Now he tries to run off, and it's gone. Bill Athey started running off the field. He seemed to know it was going. What a great triumph for Bill Athey. 142 not out, and you couldn't wish to see a better innings.
An innings which surely will do Bill Athey's confidence a power of good and may do England prospects no harm at all, both in the short and the long term. England roaring home at the end with 8 balls to spare. No Chatfield, of course, today, bowling for New Zealand, and the best figures returned by Richard Hadley. Here an England left-hander adjudicated the Man of the Match award, and I'm sure nobody quarrelled with his judgment. It went to Bill Athey. Bill Athey also picked up the Man of the Series award for England, and the man on the New Zealand side who got it was Martin Crowe. So the series squared, but New Zealand taking the Texaco trophy through the faster scoring rate over the 2 matches. On now to the first test, starting at Lord's next Thursday.